pyramids. What's the significance?
The significance is that you can find pyramids all over the world on each continent. And the question is, when and who did build those pyramids? Why many of those pyramids all over the world are looking very, very similar? Another question is, did there really exist a global civilization? And I think many of our researchers are really telling us that once upon a long time a global civilization existed. But how many thousands of years ago, we don't know. Most of the audience of Project Camelot may know about the story of one stone pyramid building found in 1984, 25 meters under the sea level in Japan on the island of Yonaguni, which is the southeast Japanese island belonging to the Ryukyu island group. And there is still a struggling of some international archaeologists who are saying that these monuments were done by nature. But my friend Professor Masaaki Kimura did several years since then researches not only on this monument, but also he found several others close by. On the right side down you have a model, and one thing nature is definitely not doing on top of two platforms of this monument. There is one huge stone turtle and one huge stone bird like an eagle. Nature is doing many things, but not such a precise, perfect monument. And the question is, where are all the stones? If nature would have done it broken down, where are those stones? There are also streets, and there was also found a stone stadium like a Roman Colosseum with stone seat rows and stone stairs. Nature is great, is doing many, many great things, but not such perfect buildings. Here you have the huge stone turtle, and you can see also how small is a diver against this big monument. Here you have one street with stairs going up. Here again a very close-up picture just to recognize the size of this huge monument. Here you can see some world maps. On the top, on the right side, you can see the Piri Reis map, which was used already long time before Christopher Columbus came to America. And you can see how perfect this map was already in the beginning of the 16th century, showing part of Europe, of Spain, Portugal, part of Western Africa, and also part of South America. We do not know until now who was able to make such a perfect map already centuries ago. And on the rest of the Piri Reis map, which we do not show on this picture, you can also see the Antarctic without ice. In 1956, researchers found out that the Earth under the ice mass at the Antarctic is exactly like the Piri Reis map was showing. So this Piri Reis map should be at least older than 10 to 12,000 years. But the next question would be, who was able to make such a wonderful world map? On the left side, on top, you see Atlantis, done by Athanasius Waldseemüller, and the map is the other way round. He did it the other way round, and you can see the continent between Europe, Africa, and also America. And you can see on the left side down different sides of a huge stone world map. This stone world map was found in 1984 while gold digging in Ecuador in an underground tunnel system with other 350 artifacts which do not really fit any known and existing South American pre-Columbian culture. On this stone map is a natural quartz line, a white one, and this is the front side of the world stone map, and you can see approximately in the Near East, close to Saudi Arabia, you can see an inlay as an eye. And from this eye to the right and to the left is a natural quartz line going on the right side over India, Thailand, and also there's a long island on the right side, which Professor Kimura's research gave him the statement that from the northeast Japanese island until far down after Taiwan, once there existed a huge continent. But then this world map must be older than at least 10 to 12,000 years. And here's the back side, and you can see on the right side coming the quartz line passing in the Atlantic, a continent, Atlantis, which in our days does not exist anymore. Then the white line is crossing part of South America, and here you have a close-up, and you can exactly see the Bay of Guayaquil, an inlay going up to north, and a round inlay showing exactly the place where there were found those artifacts, and there is also the best quality water worldwide existing. One other very interesting artifact found on the same place in Ecuador is the so-called pyramid with the eye. The eye is an inlay, the stone is gray and white, and you have 13 steps, and it looks exactly like the pyramid with a shining eye on the $1. If you put this pyramid under black light, the eye is shining very strongly, and it looks really like an eye, but not real like a human eye. Here you have a close-up of the eye, and you can see the colors of the inlay. On the bottom of this pyramid, you have the inlay in little gold plates showing the Orion star constellation, and you have unknown writing. The translation of Professor Kurt Schildmann, who was the president of the German Linguistic Association, and he was perfect in more than 40 languages. He was able to translate this writing. He called it pre-Sanskrit because it is older than the oldest writing. And the translation of these 4 letters you can see here, his translation is "the Son of the Creator comes." As we found the same writing on stones in certain countries like Ecuador, Colombia, Illinois, United States, Clausel, France, Malta in the Mediterranean, Turkmenistan, Australia, and in southern Calabria, Italy, just a few years ago. Always there are stones and ceramics, terracotta, with the same writing. That means this writing existed once worldwide, and that means there must have been a global civilization older than Sanskrit, older than 6,000 years. And Professor Schildmann also told me that this writing has a little similarity to the Indus writing and also to the Easter Island writing. And as he said, this is older than Sanskrit writing. And as he said, this is older than Sanskrit. He called this writing pre-Sanskrit. On this, another very strange finding from the same place is one big jade cup and 12 little jade cups. As the 12 cups are man-made and each one is a little bit different in size, if you fill them up perfectly with water and you put the 12 cups of water inside the big cup is completely filled. The next strange thing is that you can see on the little cups numbers which are looking like the Mayan numbers, but if you compare them with the Mayan numbers, you find out that there are some little differences. And on the big cup, you can see a perfect inlaid star constellation, also showing the Orion and other stars. And inside the big cup, it is very, very magnetic, and outside the cup, nearly nothing. Professional geologists are saying this is impossible because if a stone has metal particles inside the stone, it must be same magnetic from both sides. Here you have a close-up of the big cup, and you can see a perfect inlay of star constellations, and they are shining very brightly if you put black light on it. Here you have some small cups that you can figure out more clearly the style of the numbers inlaid in a strange material also shining under black light. That's another piece, a jade plate with the same star constellation inlay like on the big cup. Another one, you can see 7 rings inlaid in the jade plate and also shining under black light. Maybe this also could be a presentation of the 7 chakras. Here you have one of the big stone plates from Pumapunku, and you can see how perfect this stonework was done. And the question is, could you do such perfect work with simple tools? Close to this area, they found skeletons with a size of 2.6 meters. And the picture on the top shows you the skull of one of these skeletons, and it looks like it is deformed, but definitely these skulls are not deformed. They are natural style, like an egg. On this photo you see how strong the jaw of those skulls were. This is a front view, and the most interesting photo is this one, because you can see that the top of the skull does not have the 3 plates which we have as Homo sapiens, and that shows us that these skeletons are not Homo sapiens. What we might be able is doing a DNA check and an age dating on these skeletons, because we are very much wondering what kind of humans did exist long time ago and how long ago. On the next pictures I show you some artifacts found close by the real giants, and when I first time got this mask in my hands I tried to look through the 2 eyes. At that time I didn't know that they were belonging to 2.6 meter skeletons, and I was just wondering, why did they make masks where you can only look out from one eye? But after knowing that those people were over 2.5 meters, I could imagine that their skull was of course bigger than our skull, and that's why these masks were for us oversized. That's another mask from Bolivia, another one with very wonderful encarving, many spirals and many symbols, which we also found in many other cultures. This is a very heavy stone figurine, and again here you can see on the top the head of a snake going down on his backside. This is the reverse side. You can see again the snake. So that means the snake must have been a very, very important animal in the past of our history. Here you can see a stone flute. The strange thing is that the vibration of the sound of these stone flutes is exactly the same as our brain waves. So that means maybe those flutes were used for meditation or for healing purposes. And each 2 holes are connected perfectly with each other. That means you can make perfect holes into this very, very hard stone, but how you connect with simple tools the 2 holes on the bottom, this would be even in our days a very difficult work to do.
Because it's in the shape of a U and it curves around inside the stone.
That's right. And with simple tools you are definitely not able to do such a work. And even the holes are very precise. This is the form of a boat, and you have 3 flute pipes at the end. Here you can see how perfectly they were made. This is another flute, very small. You can use it only with very soft blowing, and the sound is like the sound of the dolphins. This is an artifact where we do not have any idea for what purpose it was used. His most important piece is the so-called genetic disc. Here you can see a disc made out of lydite, a very hard stone. It's nearly the same hardness as granite, but the structure of lydite is like leaves, so it would be quite impossible to make the same disc in our days out of the same material. The diameter of this disc, we call it the genetic disc, is about 27 centimeters. And on this disc you have several things presented which usually you can only see with a microscope. For example, on the left side, around 11 o'clock, you can see one egg, human egg, without, and another with spermia. On the right side, at approximately 1 o'clock, you can see some spermias, and then you have several very strange presentations which we could not explain. But here on the left side you have a microscopic photo from the inside of a lady done by a Swedish photographer, and you can see that the egg without and with spermia looks exactly like the presentation on this genetic disc. On the reverse side you have on top several presentations of fetus in different size, different age, ending up with looks like a little child. You see also at the end of the plate around 6 o'clock female and male, and also on the right side around 9 o'clock you can see the presentation of man, woman and child. But the strange thing is how they present those human-like heads. Here you can see a knife done by the same material, lydite. On top of the knife, on the handle, you have mother's head, beyond you have the child's head, and the umbilical cord is going around the neck of the child. So that means this knife would have been used to cut the umbilical cord, saving the child's life. This is a close-up mother, child and umbilical cord. This is an instrument. It might have been used for helping the child coming out, leaving the mother, when there were some complications. And it is also made out of the same material, lydite. You have here the vagina and the child's head coming out, and on the reverse side you can put only your thumb inside. That means you can only use this instrument with your fingers, meaning you cannot use power. So that means it might be safer helping the child leaving the mother than our instruments we are using in our days, because sometimes the modern instruments, while being used, can damage the child's head. This, we think, is a medical instrument. It is also lydite, and it's a perfect form. Another one, and these are other ones, they are very much smaller than shown on this photo. And when we did a material check in Vienna, the most expert worldwide checked those pieces. First of all, the material. Each one is done with lydite, and the form itself, he checked them, and finally he said, I cannot tell you how they were done, who did they make, but the only thing I can definitely tell you, from the same material in our days, we cannot make the same instruments. So How old they are we do not know, but as they were found in Colombia and they do not fit any existing pre-Columbian culture, we must consider that those artifacts are at least older than 6,000 years. But we cannot explain what kind of technology they did use to be able to make such instruments and such tools made with lyddite. You can see each piece fits exactly every kind of hand, never mind how big the size of the hand was. Each instrument, each tool fits exactly each hand which was using those instruments. This face looks a little bit like the Maui, the big stone statues from Easter Island. Here you have a close-up. This, in joking, I call it the dentist chair. Perfectly done, but again, same material, lyddite. And the strange question is, why, if they could make such perfect figurines out of this very difficult material, why did they show the human face always with big round eyes and a little nose and a big mouth? There is no real explanation possible. This is again one piece from Colombia, lyddite. On the front side you see the mother holding the baby, and on the back side you see the man with armors, most probably for hunting. This stone figurine was found in Colombia. It looks exactly like the Maui statues from Easter Island, but it is only about 30 centimeters in size. This is another masterpiece of stonework. You have on both sides presented one bird, but if you look at the front side, you can see that the two birds presenting a face, and on the left side, between the bird's head and the wings, you see again this unknown writing which we found on stones from all over the world. This is the mother holding a child, very strange face, and it's a kind of jade material. This is another stone from Colombia showing an armadillo. On top of the armadillo you can see a strange face with long ear and two horns on top. On this artifact you can see a smiling face on top. You have two triangles on this side, and on the other side, on the right side, you have a face. Again, the animal face on the right side, and some unknown symbols. And on the bottom of this object you see an animal, looks like a crocodile. This